It's the Walking Dead TV podcast, video edition. Hi, I'm Jordan with the Walking Dead TV podcast, and this is what I thought of episode 3 of The Walking Dead, Tell It to the Frogs. So this show is positively brimming with villains all of a sudden. We had Merle Dixon last week. This week we're introduced to his brother, who's not really a villain, but he's justifiably ticked off. Then we've got Ed, who maybe kind of gets what he deserves, but man, that was rough. He's not a likable guy, though. And of course, Shane and Lori, but a lot happens there, and we'll get to that later. So Rick and Party get back to the survivors' camp, where we have a Lost-style reunion. And quite frankly, it wasn't as moving as it could be, but that's only because we were only 3 episodes in. You go, a season or 2 down the road, it'll really have some impact. But that's not to say it was bad, just that we don't have the foundation for it yet. So if you want to hear more discussion about The Walking Dead, don't forget to check out the Walking Dead TV podcast audio edition at walkingdeadtv.com. That episode should be up sometime Tuesday, but you can check out our first 8 episodes about the first 2 episodes of the TV show, the first trade of the comic, and a whole bunch of other topics. We keep it spoiler-free, and we hope you enjoy the show. So last week on the podcast, episode 8, we had a discussion over who's worse, Lori or Shane. Do we really give Lori the bad rap? After this episode, I'm saying that at least in the TV universe, the answer is yes. Look, she gotten some misinformation from Shane, apparently, and granted, even with that, her actions aren't totally justifiable. But now that she knows Rick's alive, she's cut Shane off, not only from herself, but from her son, which I'll get to that in a second. Look, I understand cutting yourself off from Shane, and it was very justifiable. Was Shane's reaction justifiable, though? He immediately, after being told to go tell it to the frogs, goes after Ed, who, he's a jerk. He's apparently a wife beater, but you've only got like 20 humans left alive that you're aware of. Are you really going to threaten to kill somebody over that? Look, don't get me wrong. What he did was totally unjustifiable. Ed, not Shane. But still, at a certain point, human life's got to be worth more than even that. But let's jump back to Shane, Lori, and Carl for a second. Lori also cuts Shane off from Carl. Now, last week on the podcast, I think it was episode 7, I was saying how I was not comfortable with Shane kind of butting in as father figure for Carl, calling him son. And I know it's part of the Southern vernacular, but still, those words are chosen in the script for a reason. But after this episode, Shane and Carl do have kind of a spark together. They have a good, solid relationship, it appears. And in the scenes we saw of Carl and Rick, I don't know that I got the same feeling. But they were a lot more sparse than we saw of him and Shane, so I don't really want to judge it yet. So for Lori to cut Shane off from Carl, it might be a bit much. At least she's trying to do the right thing, but she might have gone a bit too far in that case. And how about Merle? I did not think he would go so far as to cut off his own hand. I am surprised, but they definitely went there. I kind of figured he would try to cut through the chain and then maybe still be alive and up there when they came for him, but that did not happen. Also, he didn't go down the staircase because the chain was still there. Did he jump off the roof? Because it looked like they were about 15 stories up. Was there a fire escape we didn't see or what? Speaking of Merle, his brother Daryl Dixon makes an appearance this episode. Daryl Dixon played by Norman Reedus, who fans of the Boondock Saints movies will certainly be happy to see. I know a lot of fans were eagerly awaiting this episode. So guys, what did you think? Were you happy with Norman Reedus? Let me know in the comments below. He got on some good lines as Daryl this week, especially surrounding the scene where he kills a decapitated zombie head. And it was pretty much as awesome as it sounds. I was not expecting that head to move right there. So it was a slightly cheap scare, but very effective, and I thought it looked pretty cool. So overall, I thought it was a really good episode. Definitely better than the last one. I don't know if I liked it better than the pilot, although I know some people did. It was definitely good. They kept on a very clear track. They got some awesome character development. They got to really delve into who these people are and why they're that way, including even side characters like Jeffrey DeMunn's Dale, who I was on the fence with, but by the end he had won me in. His friend, I think the guy's name is Joe, just guessing that he's a character from a comic, but I don't know for sure. Carol, who, that is not a good situation, lady, and her terrible, terrible husband, Ed. They worked a lot into 44 minutes of television, so definitely kudos to them there. And now, I really want a crossbow. So that's it for what I thought of Tell It to the Frogs, but don't forget to check out the Walking Dead TV podcast at walkingdeadtv.com for a whole bunch more discussion. That should be up sometime Tuesday. Hope you enjoy it. Check out our back catalog for now, and have a good week. More Walking Dead coming up soon. It's the Walking Dead TV podcast, video edition.